Welcome to the Bureau. My name is Brooke Oberg. This is a Pilates mat flow. Let's begin with 3 hypopressive breaths. Inhale into the ribs, exhale, empty. Make it 360-degree breath, filling the back side of the rib cage. Allow the exhale to be nice and light, and sense and feel the ribs cinching into the midline. On your following exhale, let's go ahead, hold the breath out, and just expand the ribs as big and bright as you can, lifting your pelvic floor, releasing tension. Take a deep breath and let it go. Let's do that again. Inhale and exhale. It helps to have your hands at the sides of the rib cage so you feel the lungs expand into the ribs and the ribs expand into your hands. One more full breath like that. Allow the exhale to be nice and light. Hold the breath out. Expand your ribs, grow the side body, and take a breath before letting it out. And one more round. You want to make sure you're standing in a nice stance, feet hip distance width parallel. Knees are soft, feet are grounded, body stacked appropriately. Take one more full breath in, full breath out. Hold the breath out, lift your pelvic floor as you expand the ribs, lengthen your side body, you get big and bright inside. Take a breath and then let it go. Let's do a gentle shake now. Just shake any tension out, residual tension. Shoulders dropping, body super supple. A little bounce here and there is helpful. And let's take a nice unwind, rotating our spine. Again, feet are grounded, knees are soft. Allow the spine to unravel here. Shoulders relaxed, head right on top of heart, on top of pelvis. Take a moment, roll the shoulders up, back, and down a few times. Widen our collarbone chest. Stack your body, lift up and side bend over. Come center, again, roll the shoulders back. Lift up through the opposing side and side bend. And keep those feet super grounded, knees supple. Take a nice side stretch. Make it a nice lateral stretch so you're not back bending or rounding. Grounded feet, side body long. And your whole spine is involved in the side stretch from the crown of the head all the way down to the floor of your pelvis. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. All right, let's start with another twist here. Nice wide stance, arms out. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, arms right back out of the sides of the chest. Stretch up. And then arms reach out of the sides of the heart. Reach up once more. Really press down, lift up. Feels so good. Arms wide, and then let's rotate over to our left side. Inhale, up. And exhale, rotate, other side. Take a nice lateral lunge here, bending the knee you're rotating to. Other leg stays long, foot grounded. Arches of the feet are lifted. You're toning your abdomen into your spine, and you're creating a deep hinge, deep crease in your hips as you take that lateral lunge in that twist. Good. Hands at hips, hinge at hips. Hands reach down and forward. Allow your spine to really extend from the floor of the pelvis down through the back of the heart, crown of head, fingertips. Bend and stretch your legs a few times. A little bend to inhale, full exhale, full extension. Hands underneath heart, and let's rotate here. Inhale and exhale. Allow the sacrum to be part of the rotation. So allow the hip crease to dip down as you stretch up. The right hip crease dips down as you stretch up to the left. The left hip crease draws down as you stretch up to the right. Legs stay long, arches of the feet stay lifted, even pressure through both feet. Heel toe the feet in a little bit. Keep a nice external rotation. Find a deep squat here. Press the elbows into the inner knees. And then hands to thighs in that squat, and take another rotation, dipping one shoulder down and rotating in your waist ribs, looking behind you at the opposing shoulder. Again, feet stable. deep hinge in your hip creases so you can really lengthen that low spine and tone your abdomen in. Unfold at the hips and come up into a nice deep squat here. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, arms out to the side, stretch up. We'll do that one more time. Now hold your nice wide squat here in the next following one. We'll lower one forearm down, stretch the opposing arm over into a side stretch, and circle that top arm up and around a few times. Feels so good. Reach up, deepen your squat, maybe touch the floor with the opposing hand. Lift yourself up. Exhale, reground, forearm to opposing side. Take a couple stretches here, opening up that right side body, or circling the arm, reaching up with the top arm, reaching down with the bottom arm. Deep squat, even reach, pressure through both feet. Come up all the way back to your star, and then hands to heart. Heel the toe of the feet back in to hip distance width, parallel. Stack your body appropriately, knees soft, feet grounded. And do a little pelvic tilts here, anterior, posteriorly tilting here. Then a nice lateral side to side. And then take it into a nice pelvic clock. Draw the hips laterally, anteriorly, and then posteriorly. So you know the difference. Just feel your body. And then find something in between, right in the middle. Draw the front of the hip points, sides of the rib cage into the midline. That's it. Now let's continue with some squats here. We'll reach the arms forward out of our heart, take a seat in an imaginary chair, and then press back up. As the arms reach forward as you lower, keep drawing your head, throat, sternum, ribs, belly back in opposition, that two-way stretch. Keep that inner lift through your crown even as you descend in your squat. So there's always a two-way stretch in that direction as well. Option to rise up on the ball mounds of those toes. Feel that low belly. Take a nice chest expansion as you rise up into your full stance. Stay in the ball mounds of those toes, lower and lift. And then lower the heels, reset. Rise up, keep your chest expansion, descend down an imaginary wall. Try to keep shoulders stacking on top of hips. Really pay attention to your posture. A lot of work to stay up on the ball mounds of those toes as you lower into that squat. And let's continue with 10 lunges. Nice and simple here. Hip points are lifted. Hinge forward at a diagonal line from the right foot through the crown of your head. And then inhale, drop that right knee down, make 2 right angles, and then exhale, come back to that diagonal line. So both knees bend to 90 degrees. Left knee aligns right on top of the left ankle. Right knee directly under right pelvis, scissoring through those inner thighs. Find a nice rhythmic breath. Hands at hips, just so you're aware of keeping the hips level and square, facing forward. Ribs on top of pelvis, on top of heart. Good. Now hold your lunge. Reach the arms out to the side and up. And then hinge at the hips, hands to the floor. Runner's lunge. Right hand to the corner of your right side of your mat. And the left arm reaches up in a nice rotation here. Keep firming outer left hip in as you rotate open. Come back to your nice lunge and step forward to step back, side 2. Hinging forward a diagonal line. Make sure that left heel bone stays lifted. Heel bone, ideally left heel bone on top of left toes, start to finish. Pulling up the arc sole of that right foot, start to finish. Find a rhythmic breath. Inhale into the lunge, exhale back to that nice diagonal line. Even weight on both feet, regardless if you're in the lunge or not. Hips level, shoulders level. That's a nice gentle lunge to sort of wake up, warm up that lower body. Reach the arms up. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, left hand to the mat, runner's lunge. Inhale, prepare, exhale, rotate. Hugging right hip in, stretching left thigh back, reaching up, reaching down, wide collarbone chest. And then gently return back to your lunge. And we step forward, standing position. Maybe a couple little pelvic circles here just to sort of reset. Recommit to that neutral pelvis, stacked, lifted posture. Reach the arms forward and let's take a squat again. Then find the floor, roll back, roll up, plant those feet, come back to your chair and back to your posture. Resist to go down, have a seat with control, roll it back, roll it up, rolling like a ball, round your feet, find your seat, and then back to your nice lifted posture. Just warming up. Find your seat, root to rise. This time, let's take a nice deep squat. Again, deep hinge at those hips. And elongate your spine a little bit more through fingertips. Let your spine cascade down, lengthen. Let gravity be your friend. And then drop your hips below your knees, in between your feet. From Malasana, deep squat here. Pressing elbows into inner knees. Widen your collarbone chest. And then gently have a seat. Hands behind thighs, heels rooted. Hinge back on your inhale. Exhale, coming back up. Hinge back. And we're hinging to find some space and length. And then find your C curve, roll down, roll up, and then re-extend tall back. Hinge, round, bottom to top, roll down, roll up, and unfurl and re-extend. Keep some energy between your inner thighs. If you need a ball or something to hold on to between those inner thighs, that can be useful here. Now keep your round ball, round shape, and roll up and down a few times. Keep those heels heavy so the hamstrings stay working start to finish. Wide collarbone chest, elbows out to the side, and then gently find your way all the way down on the mat. Walk your feet in a bit, adjust your wardrobe, and let's go ahead and begin with some more pelvic tilts. Before you start any workout, it's always good to be aware of where your pelvis is. You want to find your neutral pelvis in seated, standing, and even lying down. That's a prerequisite for most of your workouts. So we're not making matters worse, but we're really aware of keeping our alignment. We're doing our side to side, feeling our left, feeling our right back of the pelvis, sacrum, and into our pelvic clock. And again, you're just observing your body, seeing what pieces are working with you and what pieces are having a little bit of a issue. So you're aware of your own unique issues before you begin your workout. So you can consciously pay attention to that. And then rolling up into your bridge, rising up to the ball mounds of the feet, and rolling back down. So some rolling bridges. Rise up to the ball mounds and exhale, roll down. Reground those feet, roll it up. As you roll up and down, really articulate through your low lumbar spine, sacrum. Really try to get in there a little bit. That's what part, at least for me, tends to be really stuck. And now holding your bridge on your toes, and we'll do hip dips. Try to keep that chest open. Hinge at the hip crease as you dip the hips to a hover and lift right back up. And then roll it back down. Very nice. Find your neutral pelvis. Float the legs to tabletop. Reach the arms up above shoulders, and we'll do a variation of dead bug, hand to opposite thigh, and then opposing arm and leg reach long into your dead bug variation. You really want to brace your spine with your waistline, bottom to top, side to side. So opposite arm and leg reach out. You hold your Pilates frame. You hold your back, really reaching up the mat. Neutral pelvis. There's The pelvis is still in your neutral position. Opposing arm and leg reach away. Then take 3 more breaths, just simple abdominal bracing here. Hands press the thighs forward and up, holding your legs at a tabletop, knees on top of hips. Deep diaphragmatic breath, inhaling. Use your exhale to drive your thigh bones away, pull your waistline in, including your throat, sternum. And then hinge at the hips, quick figure 4, left shin to right thigh. Hips stay level, pelvis neutral. Maybe pick up that right foot, holding on top of the right shin. Couple breaths. Be sure to keep the shoulders relaxed. Gaze at the ceiling. No funny business with your neck and head. Flex your feet to lock your knees and unlock those hips. Good. Hug the knees into the chest. Just massage the low back gently. Find your neutral. Legs at table. Optional, curl the head, chest up. And then float those arms, possibly, and we'll go right into your 100. 10 full breaths here. Inhale, big and bright. And then exhale, feel the lungs empty, the diaphragm lift, and the low waistline pull in and up. With each exhalation, each breath is an opportunity not only to create more space inside, but also on the exhale to create more inner lift. Really pull your waistline up out of your hips, stretch your legs in opposition. So there's a clear two-way stretch from the pelvic center. Arms are pumping vigorously, chest is opening. Pause, then fold the knees in and roll down. Continue right back into your rolling bridges. Rolling up, rolling down, articulating through your low spine. Try not to just land there. Really roll from posterior to anterior, then anterior to posterior. Find your pelvic tilts. And then walk the feet out for a challenge, and let's take a roll up. Float the arms, lift your head, grab hold of the thighs for support, and fold up and over. And then reach forward to go back, bend those knees, massage that low spine, and come back to your lying position. Sustain your neutral pelvis, the back ribs flush to the mat, even as your arms reach overhead. That's the challenge, not to pull your spine into a sway back or arched spine. As the arms find their way all the way behind your head in that full stretch position, you got to keep containing your abdomen, ribs, sternum, throat into the back body. Keep the hamstrings strong, that neutral pelvis is steadfast. Be sure to find a nice rhythmic breath as you do your roll up. Inhale to lift your head, exhale round up and over. Inhale, resist to go down, exhale, full stretch. Now arms extend. Let's continue with some frogs. Find that deep hinge, deep crease in your hips. So you're not rounding, collapsing your low back, but that low back stays long, tailbone heavy. Inhale, push out your frog. Exhale, pull in. And then maybe add a little pelvic tilt. After you hinge, get that deep crease and then peel that low pelvis up and off. Get a little more massage that low spine. Optional to go to your full roll over. Lift up, open legs hip distance and roll down. Zip the legs together. Pelvic lift and go up and over. Open hip distance, flex and roll down. Keep the head and shoulders grounded, not rolling onto that neck. Good. Reverse. Open hip distance. Feet are flexed. Up and over, hips on top of shoulders. Point your 10 toes and massage your spine down the midline. Firm the upper back. Pull the mat apart with your hands as an option, just so you stay active in the upper back, through the arms. Pull the neck long as the legs extend back down. Plant the feet, lift your pelvis, hips are level, square, and do a little march here. Pay attention to those hips. Try to keep those the hips nice and still, nice and silent pelvis. as you take your march. Then float the right leg up and circle, cross midline around and up. And then you can lower the pelvis down for more support. As long as you can keep your neutral pelvis, extend the left leg long to a standing position. That's very challenging. And reverse. Walk the foot back in. Feel the work you need to commit to. Then lower the pelvis for more support. And then optional to stretch your leg back to your standing position. Keep that awareness in the back body. Walk your hands up the right leg. Micro bend and extend through your knee. Open up that hamstring. Drive your heel bone up to anchor the femur bone down. Maybe curl the head up. Keep tacking outer right hip to inner left ankle. One full breath here. Stay for your exhale and then gently lower back down. Hug the right knee in. Nice stretch here, lengthening through your left hip flexor and side two. Find a little pelvic lift here. Firm the shoulders, anchor the head, float the left leg up, and we circle. Cross midline around and up. And lower the pelvis down, but keep the work in the back of the pelvis, hamstrings. And then full extension, keeping your neutral pelvis. That's a lot of awareness. And then we reverse your circle, come back to that bridge, lower the pelvis, sustain that work. And then option to stretch your legs, stand in your right leg, keep your neutral pelvis, hips level. Walk your hands behind your hamstring, micro bend and extend. Drive your heel bone up, root your femur bone down in your hip. Then maybe walk your hands up, tacking outer left hip, inner right ankle. Full breath in, full breath out, emptying your lungs. Gently roll down. Hug that left knee into the chest. Stretch along through your right thigh. Little hip flexor stretch here. Then both knees fold in, preparing rolling like a ball. Lift your head. Hands either behind your thighs or to your shins. Heels squeezing. And begin gently rolling up and down. Gradually get bigger and bigger into your full rolling like a ball. You want to roll in between the sweet spot of your sit bones and tailbone. Keeping your round back start to finish so you don't go onto your head and neck, but to the ridge of the scapula, massaging your whole spine, bottom to top, top to bottom. Keep pulling heel bones to sit bones. It's an inhale to go back, exhale up, and find a teaser and roll like a ball. Find your seat, teaser, fold it in, roll like a ball. Find your seat, teaser, stretch up. Good. Twice more like that. It's a fun challenge. Then plant the feet, roll back down. Neutral spine. Legs up. We go to series of 5. Lift your head as an option. Hold on to the right shin and stretch the left leg and switch and switch and switch. Both legs participating. One knee is pulled in, one leg is stretching out. Level hips, level shoulders. Keep feeling the back of the hamstring glute. Energize the whole thigh out of the hip. Double leg stretch. Two-way stretch from the pelvic center. Drive your thighs forward. Reach your spine through your fingertips. Back ribs stay flush to the mat. Low belly in and up. And then transition scissors. Everything stays the same. There's a two-way stretch. Hip, shoulders level. Pelvis is neutral and silent. Both legs participating, reaching out of the pelvis. Double leg lower lift, lower down, lift up. It's an inhale to go down. It's an exhale to go up. Accent always on the up. Pelvis stays rooting down. Use your abdomen to pull those legs back up. Keep curling the upper back up off the mat. How low can you go here? And then we go for our bicycle modified version to start. Opposing foot pushes, plants down. So you're aware of the work of the opposing leg. And then sustain it as you go to a full-on bicycle, rotating in your rib cage. Hips are level. And then rock and roll yourself up to a seat. Spine stretch forward. Legs a distance of your mat, toes above ankles. Start with your knees a little bent so you can really lift up on your sit bones. Nod the chin to the chest and spine stretch forward. Open that back. Inhale, lift up, stretch up to a capital V. Arms level to shoulders, nod the chin, and again, exhale all the air. Inhale, restack. Arms wide V. You can extend the legs fully if you can sustain your sit bones heavy and you're not rounding and slumping in your low back. As you restack your spine, reach the arms to a high V. Make sure you're not arcing your back. As if you had a mat behind your back when you're into that extension, that tall back. Feel it. Hands go behind you. Quick little tabletop to open up through your chest, front of the hips. Lift on your inhale, and then dip the hips down. Exhale. Twice more. Push down through your hands and feet. Lift your chest through your shoulders. Stretch the thighs forward. Then reground. Let's do open leg rocker, one leg at a time first. Again, hips are level, pelvis is still, chest is open, collarbones wide. Let's see if you can hold both legs out on an extension. Try that a few more times. If that's too much of a stretch, go to tabletop or rolling like a ball. Roll it back, roll it up. And if this is still too much, you can always go on your mat and do some rolling bridges. Careful not to roll onto your head. Keep using the back of the thighs to pull you back up, abdomen tones into your spine. Toes shining brightly. Zipper the legs together, find your teaser. Take a breath. Then lower the feet. Scoot yourself forward and roll the spine back down. Getting ready for corkscrew. Hold on to the sides of the mat to anchor the upper back, shoulders. Start with your frog. Heel squeezing as you inhale, stretch out. Heel squeezing as you fold in. Knees to the outer hip. Maybe you have that little pelvic tilt. Peel the low back up and off the mat. Sustain with that. Or on the next one, come up and over, like your rollover, and roll down the right side of your spine. Circle the legs around to the left and lift up on the left side of your spine. It's like a pelvic clock on steroids. What a long lever. Longer the legs, the harder. Don't let those legs pull you down. So remember, keep your back flush up that mat. That two-way stretch. Lengthen your spine as your spine lowers back down. Lengthen your head through your shoulders as the spine lengthens back down. Heels are squeezing start to finish here. Pause at center. Hug the midline and gently roll down. Bend the knees, rock and roll up to seated. Saw. Legs a distance of your mat. Again, start with the knees bent so you feel those hamstrings, sit bones rooting. Rotate to your right and saw. You can anchor down the opposing hand to give you some leverage to pull up in that side of the waistline. So there's no collapse. You don't just flop over yourself. You go up and over yourself. Always up and over, both sides of the waist. Option to straighten, lengthen, tone those legs. Only if you can sustain the sit bones heavy, the spine tall and lifted. Saw 3, 2, and 1. Inhale and for a lift and rotate. Exhale, saw 3 and 2 and 1. Feels so good, this exercise. A lot of work, a lot of dynamic. Rotating the waistline, ribs. Pelvis stays relatively still. Hips level and quiet. Come center. Reach the arms behind you. Take another table here. Open up that chest. Lift your hips. Stretch through the thighs. The more you push, the more stretch you'll get. Open up that chest. And maybe lean the head back through your shoulders. And then gently have a seat. Lie down on your stomach and we'll continue with some prone exercises to strengthen our back. Starting with our swan, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Find your neutral pelvis here. Pelvis rooted, top ribs rooted, hands pressed down and curl the upper back up. Start with that much. Sustain your neutral pelvis. Pull that low belly in and up. And then maybe hands under shoulders to curl up a little bit more in your full swan. Make sure to keep that low belly in and up, chest opening at the top. Gaze lifts forward, maybe all the way up, full extension. Now keep your swan, look to the right, circle the head to the left, and center for a neck roll. Keep the back body so strong, look up and then gently lower back down. Come onto your forearms, setting up for single leg kick. Zipper the thighs together, press the forearms down and round your back like a cat. Really feel that low belly, rib cage, throat, sternum lift up. Now keep that low belly lifted, but extend your chest and continue a single leg kick. Kicking one heel at a time, 2 times. Kick, 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 kick. Forearms are pressing, abdomen's lifting, chest is opening, gaze is forward. Can you keep your hips still here? That's the work. Inhale, look up, and exhale, gently lower. Hands stack on sacrum, elbows go down, chest releases, back opens for double leg kick. Hands cross, back opens, kick 3 times with both legs, root the thighs, and then curl up, 2, 3. Again, kick, 2, 3, root down and rise, 2, 3. Again, can you keep your neutral pelvis? Can you feel that hamstring curl? Strengthening your glutes, posterior chain. Try to raise your hands higher and higher up your back each and every time you lower back down. Maybe in between the scapula, really open up that middle thoracic spine. Keep adjusting that neck and head. Hands pressed down, full swan. One more time. Open your collarbones wide and then gently lower. Press up and back. Round your back cat and push it back to child's. Just stretch it out here a little bit. Feel how those hands connect out of that low back. Now chest expansion. We'll pull the arms down and back. Open your chest. Keep your balance point forward. So you're really in your stacking position here. And curl those toes under to give you more support. Feel the hamstrings, glutes. Neutral pelvis. Now add a thigh stretch. Reach the arms up. As the arms reach forward, hinge at the top of the knees, and then lift, lift, lift. Feel how those arms lift up, up, up to help you grow your spine. Root the shin bones down to find that 2-way stretch. Take a little twist now in your thigh stretch, rotate. As you rotate, allow the hips to come forward a little bit, but there's still extreme tone between those inner thighs. Tone that low belly, lift your low back. Start to finish here. Keep unwinding that mid-thoracics, lift up, and then let's take a camel. Hands at hips, hands at ribs, so lift those, lift your armpit, chest, hands to heart. Take a breath in, and then exhale, maybe lift up so much that you can drape back, hold onto your ankles for camel pose. Again, it's still a lot of work in that lower body. Give you support. Lift yourself up, hinge at the hips, have a seat for a second. Very nice. Come on to your back now for shoulder bridge. Roll it down. Fix your wardrobe. Take a breath. Find your neutral. Maybe a couple pelvic tilts. Side to side, maybe a pelvic clock or 2. How does your pelvis feel, back feel now after we moved a bit? Hopefully a little better, a little more warmed up. So commit to your neutral, then lift your hips up. Find your bridge pose, not over clenching in that low back, so maybe your hips have to drop a bit for you. And stretch one leg out, kick it up, and push it down 3 times. Hips are level. Side 2, kick it up, reach it down. As that leg reaches down, you gotta lift that same hip up so you keep your hips level. And then try that again, possibly, Or plant your hands behind you, fingers face shoulders, plug those shoulders in the back, inner elbow squeezing in. And maybe you can pull yourself up into full wheel, full bridge. Again, hollow armpits, fingers are gripping, there's this pull to midline. Maybe bend and stretch your elbows a little bit so you find that connection of the hands reaching out of that low back. Chest reaching forward through shoulders. Walk the feet in a little bit and stretch the left leg up and lower and lift. Lower and lift. Whole body working. Bend the knee, replant. Side two. Lift up. Reach it out. Lift it up. Couple more times. Keep lifting your chest. Find your wheel. Pause. Lift on the ball mounds. Lower down with control. Ridge of the scapula. And then roll the spine down. Beautiful work. Such a great opener for the front spine. So let's roll onto our right side now. Line your back with the back edge of your mat. And let's take some pinwheel arms. Hand stacking, top hip lengthening, bottom waist lifting. Sustain that awareness. And slide the top arm across your sternum chest to the back wall. In your rotation, and then sweep it up and circle it around. Again, reach, slide, hips stay stacking as you rotate in your waist ribs. Chest open, back flush, upper back flush to the mat if possible. And then let's continue with some clams. Keep the bottom waist lifted, top hip down, inner feet squeezing. Feet can go up a little bit for a little more challenge as I'm showing. And we just feel that outer hip, inner thigh, really get some tone here. We're going to sustain that tone with the rest of our leg series. Again, keep dropping that top hip, lifting bottom waist, hips are level. We'll float the top leg up and kick it forward and kick it back. Kick it forward and kick it back. Stay strong in that bottom leg, reaching through the inner foot. You can support your head with your hand or lie down, ear to our upper arm. And then now point and kick. You can find a little external rotation of the top leg. Keep standing in the bottom left leg so you're alert there. Keep participating in your upper torso so you're not just collapsing there. Find your circles, one direction. Reverse your circle, other direction. 3 to 5 reps is good. And we bicycle. We'll sweep the leg forward, bend the knee, hamstring curl, stretch it back. Sweep, bend. Again, can you keep your neutral pelvis? Can you keep your hips level? It's a lot of work and awareness here. So there's a deep hinge at the hip as you draw the thigh forward. We're not rounding, collapsing in our backs. We're standing in our bottom leg. Grab that back foot for a quad stretch. Breath in, breath out. So nice, and then we'll roll onto our stomach with that knee out to the side of the hip for a little more opening in the front of that left hip. Take a breath or two. Head relaxes onto your hands like a pillow. And then take that left foot forward into a nice lunge position, back knee is down. And do some circles here. Just a little more hip opening. Spine is long, chest is open. Reverse your circle if you haven't. And then take a runner stretch. Drive that left heel bone down. Hinge the pelvis back, stretching through the left leg, and then bend that left knee to a square, dropping the hips down a little bit. Again, keep the hips level, chest open. And now maybe hold your runner stretch. Keep digging that left heel bone down and back so the hamstring's taut and strong as you stretch it. Scissor through those inner thighs, tacking outer left hip back, big hinge in that left hip as you draw that right hip forward. Keep the hips level. And let's go side two. Start with your pinwheel arms. Hips, shoulders stack, top hip dropping down, bottom waist lifting up to keep that levelness. Stack hands, reach forward, and then let's go ahead, rotate. Keep drawing that top hip down and forward. There's some tone through those inner thighs. Circle the top arm up and back home. One more time like that. And continue with your clam, about 10 reps. Feet can lift, inner feet squeezing, hips level, shoulders level. Awareness in the bottom waistline. And again, just feel that outer hip, inner thigh, start to wake up a little more. Low belly in and up. All those low powerhouse muscles, abdomen, inner thigh, glute, hamstrings. Now keep that awareness as we do our side kick series. Again, readjust that top hip. It likes to sneak up when you don't know it. It's that unconscious movement. So you gotta be conscious. You gotta be alert. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, stretch back. Paying attention. Not just going through the motions. That's the work. Find that external rotation. Watch that hip lifting. Keep lifting bottom waist, standing in the bottom foot. Find your circles. Reverse your circles. Good. Take your bicycle. Sweep it forward, bend the knee, hamstring curl, stretch it back. Kick, bend, drive it back. Kick, bend. Good. Reverse. Remember to find that hip crease, that hinge of that hip as you draw the thigh forward. So you're not rounding that low back. Then take your quad stretch, bend that knee, draw the inner knee down, hold on to the top of the foot, open that chest. Watch your ribs here. The ribs sure like to flare on me. And then come onto your stomach, right knee out to the side of the hip. Couple deep breaths here. Make a pillow with your hands, somewhere to put your head. And then sneak that right leg forward into a nice low lunge and take some circles. Feet are about hip distance width apart. They can go outer hip distance width apart for more base. Keep the spine long. Feel the femurs just move in the hip. And then draw the hips forward a little bit and draw the hips back into your runner stretch. Forward, nice and gentle. Keep the hips level. Keep the chest open. Even lengthen your side body. Feel how those hamstrings are participating in this. Maybe find a little more space, walking front foot forward. Dig that heel bone down back, toes point up. And then forward fold over your top right thigh for more of a stretch in that hamstring right spine. Scissoring those thighs in. And sneak it back. Beautiful work. Have a seat. Okay, here we go, teaser. We're going to hinge back and come forward, just how we started practice. Tall spines. Feel that low belly. Float those toes and maybe float the shin bones to table. And then hinging at the knees, tap the floor with your toes. As the shin bones go up, feel that low stomach. Maybe find both legs extended, both arms extended. Find your teaser. Stay out of those quads. Squeeze your heels. You can always bend those knees if you're feeling like it's going to those hips too much. It's easy to do. So again, feel that low belly. Float the legs, float the arms. Arms and legs are horizontal to one another. Chest is open, neck is long. Squeeze your feet as you exhale. Find that two-way stretch. Release. Either do that again or an option to add a little roll. Legs at tabletop. Abdominal bracing, arms up out of shoulders. You're going to inhale, lift the head up. Inner feet are squeezing. And then exhale like a frog. You'll stretch your legs out as you float into teaser. Then fold at the hips and roll down with control. Back to table. Inhale, curl. Frog those legs out. Work that low powerhouse, glutes, hamstrings. Hinge and roll back to table. One more time, roll it up. Frog your legs, scoop your stomach. Helps you to roll, articulate that low back. Stay for a breath or two, and then lower the feet down. All right, take a nice tabletop here, open chest, hips, and then let's come back onto our stomachs for a quick swim. Hips, shoulders level. Find your neutral pelvis. Take a moment to stretch one leg at a time. Then leverage your pelvis, ribs down, pull the stomach in, lift your chest, And then opposite arm and leg lift. Think about what's pressing down, what's giving you support. So opposing arm and leg that's not lifted, push it down. Keep your hips, shoulders level, ribs down, pelvis down to lift the space between. Sustain this movement with that extra support, opposing arm and leg rooting down, or float everything up and do a quick swim here, 5 full breaths. Keep feeling the ribs and the pelvis and the front body press down. Lift the space between and lengthen your head. Stretch your thighs, reach your arms, fingers. Then swimming your arms back, press down to lift back up. Walking in forward, find a nice cat-cow here. Really keep that low belly lifted, and then extend your chest for your plank pose and rock it forward, back. Leg pull back here. So kick with the leg up as you stretch back 3 times. Keep your level hips. Switch your legs. Keep the leg up and back, up and back, up and back. Beautiful. Lower the knees. Cross the shin bones. Now have a seat for leg pull front. Come back to that table. You can keep the knees bent if you need to, as we've done several times already, or extend the legs fully. Reach through those 10 toes, scissor through those inner thighs, and lift up full table, legs extended. And then we'll kick the leg up. Leg pull up. Use your stomach, kick the leg up. Keep the hips level, hands pressing, chest opening through shoulders. So much work. Lift up, and then fold that bottom right knee under, side or kneeling side kicks, top hand to ear, and then lower, lift the top leg, keep your neutral pelvis, hips are stacked, and circle the leg. Try to keep the leg hip height. Firm that bottom right hip under. Stack your shoulders, extend your neck. Bicycle, reverse your bicycle. Remember that hinge in that hip. You're not rounding, shortening that low back. Then side stretch and lift yourself back up. Side 2, kneeling side kicks. Knee under hip, stacking hands, top hand to ear. Push your side of your face up into your hands. So you're strengthening your neck here. Both sides of your neck are reaching. Elbows lifting, top elbow lifting. Circle that leg, keep it hip height. Bottom hip under. And then bicycle 3 times and reverse. Feel that hamstring glute. Make sure you're hinging at that hip crease. Tone your low stomach, lengthen your spine. Quick side stretch and pick yourself up. Come over to the side 1 again, right side. Stack hip shoulders, and we'll take a few side bends. Watch that bottom shoulder. Keep the shoulder back, bottom waist lifted, and inhale, lift into your side bend. Bottom waist lifted, and then gently lower, hover the mat, and then lift back up, and then hover. Your knees can bend as you hover the mat. Pause in your side bend, couple breaths, bottom waist lifted, thighs squeezing, bottom hip lifted, chest is opening. Look out in front of you a little bit, and then gently lower the bottom knee, come up. Side 2 for your side bends. Hips, shoulder stacked, bottom shoulder drawing back, bottom waist lifted up, and inhale to pull yourself up. Exhale, resist to go down. Pull yourself up. Resist to go down. Pull yourself up, and we'll stay here a couple breaths. Hug that center line, look out and forward in front of you. Bottom waist lifted, shoulders stacking, chest opening. And gently bend that bottom knee, pull yourself up. Beautiful work. Have a seat at the front of your mat. We'll continue with your boomerang, my favorite exercise. We'll cross right leg on top of left, roll it back. Reverse your cross, roll it up, find your teaser. Circle the arms up and around. And then float up. Recross. Scissor those inner thighs, feel the center line, fold the arms, open your chest, and gently fold. Circle the arms and grab hold. And then float it up. So keep it moving. I said grab hold, but it's an energetic grab hold. We're moving, we're flowing through it. feeling our oneness, all our pieces working together in our boomerang. Feel those thighs hugging the midline, although the hips stay level and square. Open your chest here in your boomerang. Fold over belly to spine. Good. Nice work. Seal. Clap your hands. Hands tap inside your legs and wrap the outside of the shins. Keep a nice round spine as you clack your heels 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Roll it back. Pike your hips up, 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 up. Not on the neck or shoulders. Remember to do those clacks from the inner outer thigh, opening those hips up. Ankles just do what they're told. And then if you feel like you can really root down through the upper back, lift your pelvis, maybe add the clacks when you're on the upper back. Find a nice sweet spot there in between your scapula. Lift your hips, lift your spine. Round, open that low back. Beautiful. Come forward and down for a nice bow pose. So get long first. Get spacious. Find your neutral pelvis. Tone your abdomen. Lift your scapula. Float the chest for your swan, maybe the thighs. And only if it works for you, you can bend those knees, grab hold of the outer shins, and kick up. Breathe deeply here. Maybe add a little rock. Pay attention to you. What's going on? Can you keep breathing? Can you keep the space? Can you keep the lift? Then press up and back, child's pose. Just for a breath. Fix your wardrobe. And then let's lie back down for balance control. Adjust your neck, head. Make sure there's no pressure down in that neck. I have a pretty flat neck, a flat spine. So I have to really pay attention. Rooting the middle base of my skull. Take your frogs, pelvic lift, maybe lift your hips up. If this doesn't work for you, go back to some rolling bridges. It's a good substitute here. Hips are stacked on top of shoulders, no pressure on the neck. Anchoring the skull and ridge of the scapula. Swip your arms behind you, grab hold of one ankle, float one leg up, and then switch. I'm very close to this cabinet, so I'm paying attention not to bang my foot up into that as I switch. Oops, I just did and lost it. If you lose it, just come back into it. And you're pressing up into your hands, so the back of the hamstrings toning, even though the leg isn't lifted. Hips are level. Tacking outer hip up to the inner ankle that's lifted. Scissor those inner thighs, both legs participating. Back is broadening, expanding, lifting through your foot. Chest is open. Then grab hold of both feet and gently roll the spine down through your center. Beautiful work. Let's go ahead. When you're ready, draw the thighs away from you just for a second. If you got congested there, rock and roll up to seated. Come back to all fours for some push-ups. Round your back, extend your spine, find a few cat-cows before we transition. Circle it out. Find that lateral space width in your back. Curl 10 toes, pike your hips up and back. Bend and stretch your thighs, reach your sit bones high, reach the arms down deep, traction in that spine. Then walk your hands back to your feet. Heels, feet, hip distance width, find your seat, and then come back to your posture at the back of your mat. Push-ups. Have a seat. Hands to the floor, forward fold. Walk it out to a plank, top of a push-up, and we got 5 push-ups. Bend and press back. Add a low tendon stretch. Pike the hips up and back. Find your downward dog. Walk your hands to your feet, forward fold. Have a seat, both the arms, and find your posture. Okay, one leg. Reach one leg back. I have that cabinet to go negotiate with, so I'm going to bend my back knee. Forward fold, standing splits, hips are level. Walk it out to your top of a push-up. I'm going to lower my bottom left knee for support. Keep my right leg in extension and take my 5 push-ups. Really participate with your lower body and abdomen. Try to think of rounding that low back like a cat. Pike your hips back up. Find your standing split for a second. I have to bend that top knee. And then come back to your balance here. And then ground your right foot, side 2. Hinge at the hips. Touch the floor. Forward fold, standing splits with the legs level. Hips level. Walk out. One leg plank pose. Drop that right knee if you need some more support. Left leg stays in extension. And again, really lift that belly. Keep supporting your spine in that push-up. Oh, it's so hard for me to do. I have to really lift my waist and ribs. Walk it back, standing splits, forward fold. And then hinge at the hips. Find your balance on your right leg for a second or two. And then lower the foot down. Find your posture. Let's meet in the middle of our mat. Rewind a little bit. Unwind a little bit, excuse me. Pelvic circles. Flesh it out. If anything got tight, grounded feet, supple knees. Do a couple knee bends. Feel your posture. Feel your stacking. Shake it out again. And again, just gentle rotation. Drop those shoulders. Extend your head out of your heart. Gaze at the horizon. Everything gently rotates. Knees stay soft. Feel the floor. Feel the sky. Shake it out one more time. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Root down. Reach out. Find some space and lift yourself up. Hands to heart. Do that again. Reach down. Ground. Keep your ground. Reach up. Feel so connected to the earth, to the sky. One more time. Root. Reach. Feel your space. Lift yourself up. Stay lifted. Stay grounded throughout your day. I hope you have a wonderful one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.